Going on, guys? Justin here with JustinTime to buy or sell your home. I'm a local realtor here in Brooksville, Florida, and sitting outside right now. It's pretty nice out. Got up to in the 80s today. Getting pretty hot for the middle of February. Way different than it is up north. Talked to the guy yesterday. So he's from Buffalo. 3 degrees when they left and came here. Yeah, never gonna happen here. So you guys can have that. But yeah, so I'm sure you guys saw the interest rates today and probably were a little freaked out. But I'm here to tell you that it's okay. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but there's a job report that comes out. And this happens to be the first one of the year. And according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, somehow 517,000 jobs were created in the month of January. And not only that, according to the Bureau, the unemployment rate went down from 3.5 to 3.4%. Now, according to those statistics, that's the lowest unemployment rate since 1969. I know. I had that song stuck in my head too after I heard it. But where do they get these numbers from? If they would have done this a month ago, it would have been about 80,000 jobs. How do you make that big jump in 1 month? Like, holy Christmas. But yeah, so that's the reason you're seeing your interest rates skyrocket up and your house value go down. I know here in Hernando, median house price last week was $359. It went down to about $353. Same thing around Citrus and just all over Florida. But don't worry, it's still a very, very, very strong state. In my opinion, it's a strong market. It is shifting. If you look at the Action Index score, which if you're not familiar with that, if you guys get my reports, I'm not sure if you do or not, but if not, hit me up because they're awesome and they get updated every week. And I think it's the most useful information that I've found out there. And you can go back years and so much data's in it. But anyways, the market index score, the Action Index score, I should say, it's a scale. It goes from 1 to 100. Anything below a 30 is considered a buyer's market. Well, right now we're right at 31, I believe. So we're right there. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, we have a lot of buyers out there, but also sellers. Your house is still worth more than you bought it 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I mean, it's definitely a good time to buy. It's also a good time to sell. So don't be afraid to. I mean, interest rates, yeah, they're up right now, but guess what? They're going to come right back down. I think people forget where we were before COVID came and the interest rates when they got to the 2s and stuff, like I've mentioned before. But I mean, back before then, the average was in the 4s, mid 4s, 5s, 6s, depending on your credit. But I feel like people forgot all about that, and they just are so used to seeing that 2% number that, I mean, let's face it, I don't know if that's ever going to come again. But hey, if it does, cool. You can refinance. It's definitely, if you're in the position to buy, then I would definitely consider it. I would highly advise it actually over going to rent. Average rent price is still up above $2,600 here in Florida. Some places in Florida it's definitely a lot more. Here and around Hernando and Citrus, probably about $1,800 or so, a little more, give or take. But still, I mean, by the time you think about it, you got your first month's, last month's rent, security deposit. I mean, that all adds up, and you're just giving it to somebody else when you're in a position to buy, but yet all you're thinking about is that number in the 5s. I mean, guys, that's not that bad. I did the math the other day. We closed on a $400,000 home, and the interest rate was 5.5. Yeah, it's 5.5, and I did the math on that, and by the time, like with PMI included, and for one, our taxes here are average about $1,500, $2,000, maybe a little more in some places. Now, when you go down to Tampa, obviously they're more down south. But I mean, still, that's so much more affordable. I mean, people come down here from up north and they're just amazed at how cheap our taxes are. Because, I mean, they're astronomical up there compared to here. So by the time you take that all in, I mean, your payment that I did on the math that I did on that was $2,700 a month. I mean, on a $400,000 house. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but I mean, when you're going to pay rent that's just as much, like, why? You have a whole house, it's yours, it's an investment. And another thing to think about too is you can also buy down points. I've talked about this before. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, now depending on if it's worth it or not, if you're going to get your return on your investment on it, most people, I would say within 3 years, if it's worth buying your points down, then your interest rate goes down. Now, obviously, the price of those, it fluctuates and stuff, but you just got to sit there and do the math. And I mean, if you're going to get a good return on your money within 3 years, I would say, yeah, it's worth it. Now, if it's going to take 5 years or more, then probably not. Because, I mean, let's face it, the average person moves at least every 5 years or so, maybe a little longer. But I mean, that's just something to think about. And also, too, right now, sellers are giving concessions. I've had it happen 3 times now. I have another one coming up in a couple weeks where the seller's doing it. And I mean, that's stuff that hasn't happened in over 2 years. And I'm starting to see it frequently. And you don't just have to use that money just towards your closing costs. You can use it to buy down your points if you want to. But like I said, it all depends on if it's worth it. So just something to think about. If you have an agent, a good agent who's going to guide you and can direct you and tell you that stuff, I mean, that's important information that a lot of people, they don't know. But yeah, something to think about. And another thing too is I've had 2 appraisals appraised for well over what we're under contract for. And I'm talking like 20, one was 20 grand and the other one I believe was 12 grand. I mean, we had this one mishap with Karen, can't go there, but that was one compared to the others. All these appraisers, apparently they think it's a strong market, and this is up here in Citrus County. So, I mean, I think we're in a good position. I mean, yeah, we're going to a buyer's market. The numbers show that, but that's also not a bad thing. So, I mean, all you VA buyers, FHAs, like I keep saying, you guys, you're back in now. I just put a listing up the other day, and I mean, obviously they're not flying off the market like they were before. I think that the average home sits on the market now about 70 days or so. But why is that? I mean, in my opinion, I just think people are nervous. They watch, like I said, this is my opinion. I think they watch the news and they just get so caught up in it. I mean, when they don't know what's going on really, and that's why it's important to have an agent that knows the local market, knows what's going on, and can keep you updated, because that's very important to me, at least. And it should be to you if you're buying a home. But yeah, guys, so I'm going to get off of here now, but I just thought that was a little, if you guys freaked out, hope that calmed you down a little bit. Don't worry. Just live it up like it's 1969, because apparently they're doing it. And making up these weird numbers that are, I don't know where they get them from. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, want to talk about the market, want to buy or sell your home, hit me up. I enjoy talking about this stuff. My website's down there below, and I will see you guys next week.